There's a government-issued savings bond that paid 9.62% interest, guaranteed, zero risk, while your bank was handing you 0.06% on your savings account. Families who knew about it quietly parked tens of thousands of dollars there. Banks will never tell you it exists, and the reason why is exactly what makes this so infuriating. That year was 2022. Inflation was at a 40-year high. Prices were eating people alive. And while most Americans were watching their savings lose purchasing power in real time, a specific group of people, accountants, Treasury insiders, people whose parents taught them this, were locking in nearly 10% on government-guaranteed money. No stock market risk, no corporate fine print, backed directly by the United States government. The average person had no idea, because nobody with a financial incentive to tell you ever did. This is the series I Bond for short. Here's what it actually is. It's a savings bond issued by the U.S. Treasury, so it's as safe as money gets. The interest rate it pays is not fixed. It adjusts every 6 months based on the official inflation rate. That's the mechanism. When inflation is low, the rate is modest. When inflation spikes like it did in 2022, the rate spikes with it. That's why it hit 9.62%. And that's why nobody at your bank breathed a word. Here's exactly how it works. You go to Treasury Direct, Gov, not a broker, not a bank, the actual U.S. Treasury website, and you open an account. Each person can buy up to $10,000 per year per Social Security number. You and your spouse, that's $20,000. Add another $5,000 on top using your federal tax refund. And here's where it gets interesting. If you have a sole proprietorship, an LLC, or a trust, each entity can purchase its own $10,000 allotment. A family that does this correctly can move $40,000 or more per year into a bond paying a government-guaranteed inflation rate, completely legally. The interest compounds every 6 months. You pay federal income tax on it, but no state tax, no local tax. And if you use the proceeds for qualified education expenses, that federal tax disappears entirely. The interest becomes tax-free. An I-bond used to fund a child's college tuition earns money the government doesn't even touch. The catch, you hold it for at least 1 year. Redeem before 5 years and you forfeit the last 3 months of interest. That's it. That is the full downside. Now ask yourself, why does your financial advisor never bring this up? Why doesn't your bank have a pamphlet on this? Because they can't sell it to you. It doesn't go through brokers. There's no commission, no management fee, no product markup. Banks make money when you keep your savings in their accounts at 0.06%. They make money when you buy their CDs. They make nothing when you go directly to the Treasury, so they stay quiet. The financial industry has no incentive to teach you this, which means most people never learn it exists until inflation has already cost them thousands of dollars in lost purchasing power. And this isn't even the best part. In years when inflation is low, the I-bond rate drops, yes. But the fixed component of your rate, whatever it is when you purchase, is locked in for the life of the bond. 30 years. So the people who bought I-bonds in the early 2000s when fixed rates were higher are sitting on bonds that pay a permanent base rate plus whatever inflation does. They are guaranteed to stay ahead of the cost of living indefinitely. That money cannot fall behind. By design. Back to that number, 9.62%. Your savings account paid 0.06% that same year. The gap between those two figures isn't a market anomaly. The gap between what people who know this do with their money and what everyone else does. It's the gap between financial information that travels through family wealth networks and financial information that gets taught in school. Which is to say, it doesn't. The I-bond is the simplest inflation hedge the U.S. government offers. No advisor, no broker, no fee. It is sitting on a government website available to any American with a Social Security number, and almost nobody knows it exists. Now here's the question that should bother you. If the Treasury is willing to pay you 9.62% to protect your savings from inflation, what else are they offering that nobody is telling you about? There's a retirement account maneuver that does something similar inside a tax-sheltered wrapper, and most advisors actively steer clients away from it because of what it exposes about their fees. That's the next file.